Hello everybody, or hello Antoine, and anyone else watching. Just had to adjust the mic there. Let me know how it sounds. Just gonna post some Discord links and then we can get started. Oh, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Hello, Solarian King. Alright, just about ready now. Okay, let's lower that screen. And as you can see, I painted my nails a nice dark maroon burgundy color to go with the mech, of course. I'm wearing a green shirt for St. Patrick's Day. I didn't paint my nails green, though. I don't have any green nail polish. As you can see, I've got the hammer here, but I need to crack the beverage first, of course. Oh, and the feet are no longer separated on the base. And this is like painting the waist leg combo here. It's just gonna be a lot easier when it's attached to the base. And yeah, so I just did like the initial edge highlights on the feet. If you look closely, you can see some bonus future highlighting that I had to kind of skip ahead and do on the feet, but you won't be seeing any of that this stream. And I'm still kind of experimenting with the colors. I'm not sure like what the full highlighting spectrum is gonna be. You're getting the SD World Hero Barbatos tomorrow. Nice. I'm not exactly sure what, which Barbatos that is. I feel like I just chipped some of the nail polish opening this conch. I don't paint my nails as that often these days because it feels like every time I do it, they immediately like get damaged. Like, you see this? But it's still fun. I think what I'll do here, let's grab a brush that will just keep dry this whole time, and it can be like for dusting pieces. Thanks, Anton. So continuing the edge highlights tonight, and some of that at the beginning here is gonna be just giving this one more quick thin coat of the sanguine base in the black, because this one was smoothed down a bit with 6000 and 8000 grit sandpaper, so you can see that's kind of where the ugliness looks there. It's not too bad though. But yeah, so we're just gonna put another load of paint on there. Burp one. And I've just been clipping the alligator clip here because this is where the fist goes. to grip the weapon, so it doesn't really matter if the paint gets damaged here from the clip. And you know, I got a clip somewhere. I suppose if I'm painting like this part at the beginning here, I can get away with not clipping it, but then like it depends on where, like what surfaces I'm gonna be putting it down on. So we should probably just keep it clipped. How's everyone doing tonight, by the way? What's everyone up to? The HGIBO fight in HGIBO was awesome. You just rewatched it. Nice. The HGIBO, is that the like mobile armor, the big bird thing? I'm trying to remember. It's been a few years since I watched IBO. I mean, IBO. Woo. As you can see, the WAP is looking a little messy here. Might have had a bit of paint bleed into the sponge. I have another sponge though, so... Or, if a bit of paint gets in the sponge, it's honestly not a big deal. Like, if you look at other painters on YouTube, a lot of their wet palettes, the sponge looks really stained up. Miniac comes to mind, but... Obviously, I still like to try and keep it not stained if I can help it. Hello, Cyber Scorpio. Okay, glad I guessed that Iron-Blooded Orphan scene correctly. Yeah, that was a really good part, because that was that episode is also where they introduced the Gundam Flower Roast, wasn't it? The Yusei Go. I love that sequence where you first see it transform into its like artillery bombardment mode. I'm sure I'm not the only one in this chat that feels that way. Maybe could have put a bit more paint on the palette. Alright, gotta make sure to stay in focus here. And we got this one really big flat surface, so I gotta try and cover it all relatively quickly. Move this mic out of the way a bit. Hopefully my talking's still loud enough. And let's make sure I hold it in the spot where the camera will focus. It's not a big deal if I spill onto the black here, because I'll be giving the black another coat either way. And like painting really big, wide open, flat surfaces like this with this brand of paint and like hand painting techniques, it's always gonna be like a pretty big challenge. I shouldn't say this brand of paint, I should just say this kind of paint. It's always gonna be like a challenge to get a really smooth result that compares to what you can get with an airbrush. I mean, you can't really get that. But I'm just letting it happen with this project because as I'm sure you've heard me mention before, probably I'll be doing lots of freehanding on top of these big flat colors, so the brush strokes and all that won't really be an issue. And plus, I think I read a comment today of someone saying that they liked the brush strokes and that it made it look more interesting, so that was encouraging. Maybe the person who said that is watching right now, who knows. I don't remember if it was like on the YouTube version of the post or the Instagram. Pretty sure it wasn't on Twitter. The dog, yeah, the flowers does kind of turn into a dog. Yeah, and I think it's the only one with a like full transformation gimmick like that. Yeah, you only have to wait a little bit longer, Antoine. The first part only aired this fall. The animation was good, so they can take their time as far as I'm concerned, as long as they keep the animation quality up. That's generally my opinion on animes. I believe someone last stream said quality over quantity. I don't want those talented animators getting overworked. I mean, the overwork in the industry apparently is pretty bad, but I don't want them to get more overworked than they already are. You know, ideally, I wouldn't want them to get overworked at all. Okay, I think I'm just gonna hold this from the black parts for now. I think that's what I gotta do, because it's just gonna help me paint it faster. Sorry, I bumped the mic there. You see my point then. But you know, the Gundam shows, they're like Sunrise is like their studio situation's a bit different than like Studio Mappa. Hence why like we don't have to wait. I don't know exactly when the next part of Chainsaw Man is coming out, but I feel like we'll like Witch from Mercury season 2, that was like already announced and like has a release date, because they were like just ready to go with it. It seems so. Yeah, so this doesn't look too uneven after one coat. What? Burp 3, I think. Just making sure the camera is focusing. Hello, John Vincent Pecan. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, there's a particle of something there. Ooh, I can see another particle of something there. That looks like something that's already kind of dried on to there, so I might just fix it off camera this weekend. I've already got wet paint on here now though, so I gotta wait for it to dry either way. Blue Parappa and I were watching a random, or it wasn't random, just this used DVD I picked up a while ago of a movie I had seen like years ago, back when it came out in 2010, called Machete, starring Danny Trejo. It's a Robert Rodriguez flick. You know, acclaimed director of Spy Kids 1, 2, and 3D. Recommend checking it out if you like really over-the-top gore. Machete, that is, not Spy Kids. Check out Spy Kids if you just want to see some real wackiness from the early 2000s. Robert Rodriguez is just one of those nice and interesting eclectic directors. And I mean, well, Danny Trejo's in Spy Kids, but the lead boy in Spy Kids, I think his character's name's Junie. He's in Machete. Oh, thank you, Otaku Builder, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Also, thanks for coming by. Hope your March is going well. And hello, Nick Does Stuff. You're another appreciator of Machete, I see. It's got a pretty intense cast for like it seems it comes across as kind of like just a fun like passion project that I don't know if it was like Danny Trejo's the main mind behind it or Robert Rodriguez. Oops. But Robert De Niro's in it as well, and Jessica Alba, who's, you know, really big in 2010, around that time. 2005 to 2010, perhaps. Okay, that brush, we'll have to see how these brush strokes look when this side's dry. Oh, you grew up watching Spy Kids? Nice, me too. I remember I saw the first Spy Kid. I think I saw all the Spy Kids movies up till like the fourth one. I never watched the fourth one because that one came out kind of later. I saw all of them in theaters. I didn't see Shark Boy and Lava Girl in theaters though. I always forget about that one. Okay, gotta let that dry for a bit. Oh, thanks, Nick. Glad you appreciate the nails. I meant to paint the nails yesterday, or for yesterday's stream, but I never got around to it. And yeah, I opted to paint them for the to match the Gusion and not green for St. Patrick's Day. Although I said earlier I don't have a green nail polish currently. Right, and then I had this arm out because this patch on the bicep here is supposed to be painted black, and I just neglected to do that earlier. After the stream last night, I spent a good chunk of time just scrolling through the Steam Spring Sale, but I didn't end up buying anything. I ended up resisting. There's a couple things that tempt me, though. Does anyone else get any exciting Steam sale purchases? Burp. I think that's Burp 3. Might be Burp 4. I guess I can pull this out, or just pull this off. That would probably help. I noticed this Vallejo, the new, well, I didn't use the last Vallejo game color black from like the earlier version, but this one dries to be like a pretty light black, if that makes sense, and it dries very matte, more so than I was expecting, which I like it when paints dry matte, but I know some people, you know, everyone has their paint preferences. The new dropper bottles for the new game colors seems like a slight improvement as well. I hope they just leave the model color range as it is though, because the game color paint names are the same, but some of the colors look different, and that's a little frustrating when you're trying to restock paints. You're tempted to get Sekiro? Yeah, I think I like stopped the scrolling at Sekiro for a minute as well. Frosthaven was another one that was tempting me. Made that really good deal on Civ 6 as well. Although I tried playing, I think it was Civ 5. I couldn't really get into it. Don't know why. Maybe it's because it was like wasn't fantasy. I'm too used to playing like Total War Warhammer. Okay, let's see how the hammer's doing. Yeah, I mean, depending on how the light hits it, you can definitely see a lot of brush strokes. But it looks, for the work I'm going to be doing on top of it, it looks acceptable. There is a bit of a bump there, though. Let's see if this is fully dry. I think I'll probably just try and sand that away right now. I got the 4,000 and 6,000 grit handy. Your cousin randomly pulled out a high-grade Earth Tree Gundam just straight up stuck in his freezer. Why'd he put it in the freezer? Oh boy, you picked up Total War Warhammer 3? Congratulations. Let me reset the camera here. Total War Warhammer 3 is an amazing game, and it is like very intimidating at first in terms of like mechanics. But I bet the YouTube channel Zerkovich and Colonel Damders, they have like pretty good like beginner oriented videos for Total War, so maybe check out some of those. Say like don't try not to expand too fast in your campaigns. It's totally fine to like make sure auto saves are on so you can save scum a bit. Or like replay a battle. You can like, you know, pause, like hit the escape menu and hit the concede to defeat button, and then it'll give you like a rematch option, and you can just reload the battle and start again. Did you get your Gundam Earth Tree back, Solarian? Okay, that bump is still kind of there. Almost like I need a hobby knife to just scrape it a little bit, but that's kind of risky. I haven't seen that Puss in Boots movie, but I heard it was very good, all things considered. Not surprised it was getting a lot of praise because it had that excellent, like, Into the Spider-Verse style animation. Okay, I'm just gonna put some paint over top of this and hope that covers it up well enough for now. If not, I'll just be fixing it off camera. well, I can definitely see the bump there. I'm just like gonna purposely glob on some paint in this area, but then like kind of stretch it out on the edges so it doesn't just create like a bigger or worse bump. We'll see how it works out though. Like I said, might be fixing it off camera. Yeah, we'll have to see. Happy Friday, Zero EXE. Oh, I'm glad you got the earth tray out of the freezer. Oh yeah, and Nick, your early campaign buildings, it's good to invest in the growth buildings early on. And then also at the same time, it's like kind of more important to like get your economy going first before like unlocking the like high-tech units and all that. It's another general tip I can give you. And cavalry are kind of a pain to micro, but like if you have 1 or 2 units in your army, which is all you really need at most, and you can micro them well, you can get really insane value. But they like, you really need to baby them. Sometimes you can like stop paying attention to them for a few minutes and you turn back and like they're half dead. Okay, that makes that arm basically done. What's my opinion on Gundam Bale? I think, or Baoru in Japanese. I like that Gundam. I have the P Bandai clear color version actually. It's like one of the first Gundam kits I got. And I was in Japan. Oh dear, the bitrate dipped for a second there. Oh, gotta make sure I don't put it on backwards. Alright, that's done. Back to the hammer. Yeah, that bump's gonna annoy me. I'm just gonna ignore it for the rest of this stream though. And what we're doing with the black here, you can see there's some evidence of this being sanded down a little bit. So we're just giving it one more thin coat like we did with the Sanguine base. With this very light, very dark gray black. Burp 5? 6? If only I was making those big YouTube bucks, then I could have an assistant or mod on staff to be the burp counter. Truly the improvement in streaming infrastructure that I need on this channel. You purposely copied Death's whistle? Yeah, Nick, do you have any widgets you can recommend? I'm assuming if I drop the money on that random like Stream Deck gadget or whatever it's called that I see on like content creators' desks sometimes, it's just like the different buttons you can press for your stages or whatever. I'm sure I could program that to just have a button on there for burps. Or I could get one of those just old-fashioned clicker tracker things. But that's like, well, I guess that's a problem no matter what I'm using, is if I have to like press the counter button myself, there's a chance I just forget. You know, sometimes the burp is so euphoric I don't think of logging it. Oh yeah, and I also gotta remember to finish painting the glow effects. I think most of the pieces I was working on yesterday just didn't have glow effects sections. So you can see on this part of the hammer I probably put too much paint on, and there's a chance that could dry as like a weird blob, so I'm gonna like add more. Okay, there might be some lines that need to be sanded down from that. I might have broken the edge of some of the paint drying. But even if it dried as a big clump there, I'd have to sand it down anyways, so. Well, just gonna let this dry for a minute. I could try and paint the other side right away, but I don't trust myself to not accidentally touch the wet paint. Let's work on this butt flap. What about the Gundam gun, Solarian? What are you referring to exactly? And you see this one was also sanded a bit, and you know, some came off the edges naturally. Has anyone here in chat done any tabletop gaming with their Gunpla before? Any game? Whether it's meant for a Gunpla or not. Put it on just a little too thick here. Maybe the thickness of the Gusion is just making me want to put the paint on thicker too, you know? We'll have to see how it looks when it dries. You're planning to play Gamma Wolves? Oh, the Gundam gun is a custom you're working on, I see. Sup, Shane. Welcome. Burp 7, we'll say. Yeah, I've got 3 PDFs on my desk right now I've been meaning to read. Or, I should say on my desktop. One of them's Mobile Frame 0. Which is intended for use with Gunpla, or sorry, with Lego. But I wanted to check it out to see if you could use it with Gunpla, or like make it work. I feel like you probably can. You know, Gunpla has a lot in common with Lego. And then I got 2 other ones, but I can't remember their names off. 2 other PDFs. One of them might be, I think it's called Mobile Suit Skirmish. And that's one that was like explicitly meant for Gunpla, I believe. I can't remember what the third one is. If I ever get a chance to like pick up a copy of Steel Legion, I'll probably do that too. That's like Ash Barker's other mech game that he made more recently, but it's like meant for, I think the models that come in the starter set he designed are 10mm scale. It's like less about a squad of mechs battling like in Gamma Wolves and more about like a mini army of like tanks and mechs. And everything's like a smaller scale, so the battlefield can be like, have more in it. It's another game I'd like to try eventually. Hopefully the camera's been focusing okay. And I'm not talking about these other games because I'm trying to move on from Gamma Wolves or anything. I'm not. I mentioned yesterday's stream, I just like want to try a few more of the like Gunpla capable tabletop games out there, just so I like can kind of compare some of them just for funsies. A monumental screw up, oh no. Oh, a new Pathfinder book, nice. Oh no, the Jack and Coke under the laptop stand. Okay, at least it wasn't on the laptop. Down the back of the wall, all over the backlog. Oh dear. I hope it didn't ruin too much of the box art. That sucks. Sorry that happened to you. Okay, let's go back to the hammer now. Okay, that black on the front didn't dry too bad, actually. No sanding needed. Look at that. You soaked your whip Ultron Master Grade? That's, that also sucks. I guess that would, like, really derail your plans if you weren't planning on painting it. If you were planning on painting it and you hadn't gotten there yet, then I guess you could just, like, wash it off, but... Or if you'd already started painting it, that'd be terrible. I mean, between those two Solarian, I'd rather have the grays. The grays. F's in the chat, everyone, for Shane's boxes. I did the classic mini painter F up the other day and I tipped my pot of Null oil over and spilled half of it. A common story among miniature painters, I'm sure. really wish I remembered to like make a little makeshift anti-spill for it like I usually do. Oh, it's already painted. Well, at least it wasn't finished, I guess. Thanks, the Darb. I don't think I'll make a mecha green skin next, but I have a green skin model I'll be painting in the spring. Not for a video, just for a little collaboration project similar to one I did last year. That's all I'll say for now. Yeah, this Gusion has major dwarf vibes for sure. Don't think I need to touch up the black on the handle. Among Us BS. Okay, Box Fox Scoot. Yeah, that makes sense that the Shenlong would be the best one. That's the most recent one. It's got like the most complicated gimmick out of all of them, probably. I guess for the wing Gundam that like also has the fancy real grade one now. Cause you know, protagonist. Okay, let's go to our Sanguine base and we can finish cleaning up that on the butt plate. Then I'll probably edge highlight this butt plate and hammer. Move those to the finished pile. Finished as in their initial edge highlights are finished. Nothing is like even close to being actually finished yet. Yeah, Shenlong's pretty cool. I'll always have a soft spot for heavy arms. And Blue Parappa obviously will always have a soft spot for Death Scythe. For those of you who don't know, she's got a pretty healthy collection of Death Scythes. It's too bad that Death Scythe, there's like a Death Scythe Hell high grade coming out, but it's P Bandai, right? I feel like that's something happened recently that was annoying. Probably have some Sanguine base left over on the palette after finishing this, so I'll probably do some parts, or yeah, I'll use it I need to tidy up some areas on the chest. I personally don't see Bandai making real grades of all the other wing kits. There's probably like a lot of other stuff that takes priority over like making real grades for those. But who knows? You never know. Be interesting to see if they add any more of those Gundam wing kits or Gundam wing suits to Gundam Evolution now that they've added heavy arms. I haven't played Gundam Evolution in a long time though. I haven't played since the fall. Just I did enjoy it. It was fun. I just didn't have time to play it. I had some really satisfying games with Barbatos, and also a lot of games where I just got my cheeks clapped. A real grade Epion? You think so? I guess there is a real grade Tulgis. I'd consider getting a real grade Epion. I'm a sucker for dragon things. I'll just do a bit of work on the torso to use up the paint that's on here. You can see this is like was started yesterday, or the edge highlighting what was started, I mean. Every game of Gundam Evo was sadness. Yeah, I'm not like that good at shooters, so there's definitely some I like tilted a little bit playing during certain gaming sessions, that's for sure. And then I'm not a fan of like their microtransactions, obviously, and the game pass and all that, or battle pass or whatever. But you know, at least the game's free to play. And they have been like making improvements. They've been like slowly improving the game ever since launch. So I truly hope for its success. Yeah, that's the other thing. There are a bunch of like those Verkas and master grades. Maybe, you know, there's like enough, it feels like there's enough Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed things around right now. Who am I to say, though? Surely we've got enough Gundam Wing kits if we still only have one Iron-Blooded Orphans master grade. There's a really strange balance I have to strike between like painting around the panel lines so that the shifter paint shows through in the panel line, but like paint too much and it, or like paint too close to it and there's not enough shifter paint showing. You almost have to like not paint as much as you would normally. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just talking off the top of my head. Mobile Suit Operation 2. I want to play that one. That one's been coming soon on the Steam store for so long. Like it just hasn't been ported yet or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but I want to play that one eventually. A perfect grade Barbatos would certainly be fun. A 10-year anniversary. When would that be? 2026? Like a 10-year anniversary of IBO, I assume you mean? Still got a bit of paint on the palette to use before I move on to the next color. It looks like there might be a mistake to fix on the metallic part there. I might be able to just leave that. This is looking almost... It's looking pretty much well touched up, actually. Okay. Let us edge highlight for reals now. I mean, I'd rather just get more iron-blooded orphans master grades than a perfect grade. I still haven't done a perfect grade. The stars haven't aligned in that way yet. Well, let's do the hammer. Gonna do the gray first, I believe. I don't know if that Bandai would be that egregious. Who knows, though? Be kind of funny if, like, a master grade Ariel came out before, like, any other master grades that, like, people have been waiting for longer. I honestly wouldn't like be that upset about that, because then I would probably want to get the master grade Ariel. I feel like that'd be a pretty good master grade. I need a bit more black in that mix. Just use the black that's conveniently there on the palette. Oh yeah, I did see that Exia repair thing. That did seem a little iffy, if that's the right word. Okay, here we go. Pretty straightforward edges here. And like with most of my projects, I usually don't bother with wearing the glove until I get like a bit further along in the project. You know, like when there's more intricate paintwork on here, that's when I like take more heed to protect it by wearing a glove. Right now I don't want to deal with the sweaty hand, I suppose. Also, let me know if this part is like showing up too dark on the stream. I can make the camera go a bit brighter. Might be like hard to tell what's going on with this dark gray over black. Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to highlighting these edges. They're very edgy. Yeah, we'll have to see the... I think I saw like a parts breakdown of the full mechanics aerial, or like in one of their like promotional videos. They had like some 3D renders of it. It looks pretty fun. When I see my local retailer post about it when they get it in, I'll definitely be inquiring to the price and see if I can justify it. I'd like to get one eventually. But I also like kind of want to wait to see like what other, you know, what other versions of aerials show up in the show when it airs. Like there is multiple different full mechanics kits for Iron Blooded Orphans, so maybe there will be some other 1/100 full mechanics kits for Witch from Mercury, like a 1/100 scale Choo Choo Demi Trainer. That'd be tight. I was trying to remember like if that full mechanics, like if that amount of full mechanics kits was kind of just the IBO thing, but I guess there's that like Raider Gundam or Calamity or something. Can't quite remember the name. That was like a recent full mechanics kit that came out, so they are still doing them. Yeah, 65 Canadian sounds about right. Oh yeah, the like full armor perfect grade like unicorn thing, that's pretty intense. Like charge you it's like they're charging you extra for all this perfect grade DLC. That's what those weapon packs are. That's just DLC for your model kits. But you know, there can be good DLC. It was annoying that it was P Bandai, but the Master Grade Barbatos parts expansion, that was some super fun DLC. Oh, I'll have to peep that inner frame, well, then I don't know what the Gusion inner frame, or I don't think I've seen that aspect of the full mechanics Gusion. Does anyone in the chat watching have nostalgia for that one anti-piracy ad that would like play in the trailer sections of DVDs all the time, that is like, you wouldn't steal a car or steal a purse. Don't pirate movies, that's stealing. And it's got that like iconic song in like early 2000s video style. You know, filmed in an alleyway. It's an incredible hit of nostalgia now. Like if you're like watching a physical DVD or Blu-ray, you know, pop it in the old PS4, watching some really dated trailers, and then also the anti-piracy ad. It's like back in the day, that was just annoying when it came up in a movie you rented from your local Blockbuster or whatever. But now in the year 2023, it plays, you're like, oh yeah, I haven't heard this song in years. Yeah, exactly, Artie Chard. Exactly, Shane. Shows that the physical media is still important, because you can watch old DVDs and like get a blast from the past and see what trailers are on it. You know, there's like controversy among Blu-rays at one point, because there was like some gimmick where like the Blu-ray, because Blu-ray players would need to connect to the internet to update their software to work, but it's like, oh, we can like use that with the Blu-ray disc itself so that it'll like always have up-to-date trailers, and that just ruins the whole thing. It's like, no, when I'm watching a movie from 2013, I want to see the 2013 trailers, you know? Feels like a very millennial thing. I don't know how much Gen Z is into physical media. Other than like vinyl, that seems to be pretty popular across the board these days. Which, you know, is pretty great. Vinyl's pretty classy and sounds good. Yeah, I think that side of the hammer's all edged. $600 DVDs, nice. Oh, and a lot of horror movies, also nice. Do you have a favorite horror movie of all time? Mine's either Alien or The Fly. I mean, The Thing is pretty good too. The common theme tying them all together is good practical effects. A hallmark of many of the best horror movies. Yeah, good old body horror. Yeah, it's fair. It's always an unfair question to ask, or it's like always hard to narrow it down to like a favorite. Would you consider The Machinist with Christian Bale like a psychological horror movie? That's just like a good movie in general. Reanimator? Nice. Yes, maybe The Machinist is more of a thriller. But you know, it gets pretty pedantic, I guess. Oh, what's the difference between thriller and horror? How do you feel about the movie Cabin in the Woods? Yeah, no, it's totally fair for horror movies not to be your thing, Cyber Scorpio. And I have that anti-piracy commercial music stuck in my head now. It's a bit of a bop, you could say. A comedy for horror fans. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. People Under the Stairs. I haven't seen that one. I'm excited for the D&D movie. It's coming out in a couple weeks now. Or is it a couple weeks? Yeah, basically. I'm glad Wizards of the Coast smartened up and I don't have to boycott seeing the D&D movie in protest of Wizards' poor handling of D&D. If any of you watched my video from November, you'll know that I'm a fan of live-action D&D movies, even if they are really bad. Phenomena with Jennifer Connelly from 1985. Nice. Does it have a killer synth soundtrack? I'm not running any D&D games right now, but I'm playing as a player in an Alien RPG session. So it's like I get to be inside the science fiction horror movie. It's pretty fun. It's a neat game too. Yeah, I need to figure out how I'm gonna, or like if I'm gonna do any edge highlights to the handlebar part of this. I was also considering just painting it like the dark iron color and just leave it metallic. That might be the better solution. I don't think I'll be deciding that in tonight's stream or anything though. Okay, just need to do this front part here, and then we're done the gray on the hammer for now. It's kind of funny how, like, almost all my hand-painted Gunpla projects, I go through, like, a similar mental journey of like, oh man, hand painting kits is too frustrating. I can never get like the smooth results I want. And then as I go through the project, I'm like, as I'm like adding like more edge highlights to this or glazing or whatever, everything's becoming, or all the flaws in the paint are becoming less noticeable, and I was overreacting earlier. Like as I'm highlighting the edges on this, I'm just like, those similar feelings are cropping up again. Okay, so yeah, that's all we'll do for the black on the hammer right now. I guess I'll probably keep working on the hammer and do the sanguine highlight now. Clear or clean up this section of the palette a little bit. It's a little goopy. I gotta remember to I'll have to take a quick break to change out the paint water so I can re-moisten the palette sponge after not too long as well. I'll probably do that after the highlight on the hammer here. My favorite zombie movie? My least favorite zombie movie would be World War Z, the one with Brad Pitt. I don't know, Shaun of the Dead's pretty good. Thought 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later were pretty good as well. Oh, hello, Dolfo. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, you are the captain now. You just had to usurp Otaku Builder like that, didn't you? I can't remember if I changed the way the widgets are programmed earlier, because yeah, it's adding up here too or I don't know like when the super chat cycle resets itself, because it is adding up the one you did just now with the one you did last night. And I thought I changed it so that it only totaled from the one streaming session, but I guess not. It doesn't matter either way. I'm obviously stoked to get the super chat. It does help a lot right now, especially. Finances are pretty tight. I'm working it out though. I'll be okay. Return of the Living Dead. Which one's the one that's set in the mall? Is that Dawn of the Dead? Yeah, Dolfo, either way, you are the captain of the stream chat, I guess. I'm the captain of the stream still, obviously. debating switching to a smaller brush. Let's see how these initial ones go. These initial strokes. I do have a somewhat of a guilty pleasure for the first two, or maybe like the first three live action Resident Evil movies, the ones with Mila Jovovich. They have some fun moments. Yeah, I really like this color. I do wish it had just a bit more pigmentation though. I think it just kind of shows that the P3 paints are designed to be used on miniatures like the ones produced by Privateer Press, not Gunpla. I mean, saying they're designed for the miniatures by Privateer Press is kind of a moot point. You might as well just say they're designed for use on miniatures. Though I think I heard back in the day that like the P3 studio paint work used a lot of two brush blending. I was gonna say wet blending too. I'm sure they use some wet blending, but like their studio paint team used a lot of two brush blending for a while, and that the P3 paint was developed to specifically be good for that. I haven't done enough two brush blending to like rate that statement, I guess. All right, see you, Dolfo. Thanks for coming by. I'm glad you're also an enjoyer of those movies. Paint was a little too wet there. Soak that up. Mop it up. Oh boy, it's been an hour and a half already. Time's just been flying by. Not gonna lie, the hammer is feeling a little tedious right now. It is, you know, the same on every side, so it's getting a little tedious now. Just thought I should get that teeny tiny complaint out there. I ain't gonna stop though. Edge highlighting, that is. Here you can see that awkward bump in the paint. Maybe it'll become less noticeable with these edge highlights. Probably not though. Oh, sorry, Cyber Scorpio. I missed your message earlier that you were leaving. Thanks for stopping by. I know you're probably not here anymore. But thank you for your continued viewership. Can anyone think of good... Are there like that many live action movies that you can count as like mecha themed movies? Obviously there's that the live action Gundam movie that Bandai doesn't like to talk about, G Savior. It's pretty epic. Like there aren't a lot of acclaimed live action science fiction movies out there that are like mecha themed. Like Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, kind of like there are like, I guess that's not really mecha, they just have like power, like armor suits. Kinda sorta some mecha in like District 9 and Elysium, but not really. Or yeah, Chappie. Now that I think of it, there's kind of like a mech fight at the end of Chappie. I can't remember if that, you know, I only saw Chappie once because it was like pretty mediocre. But the like big final fight near the end, they're fighting like a big mech like thing, but I can't remember if it's remote controlled or if it's piloted by Hugh Jackman's character. Obviously there's that live action Gundam movie being oh, what's the guy's name? The guy who did Kong Skull Island is directing it. It's the one that Netflix is bringing to being, or giving money to people to do that. Oh yeah, Pacific Rim, of course. How could I forget? Yeah, I didn't think of Pacific Rim because I guess when I was thinking of mecha, I was thinking more like Gundam scale ones. Because I'm painting a Gundam right now, and Pacific Rim, that's like Super Robot War scale. But yeah, definitely 100% mecha and 100% slaps. Love Pacific Rim. I've seen it many times. Own a Blu-ray of it. Don't own a Blu-ray of the second Pacific Rim. I never saw that one all the way through. I watched the Netflix show Pacific Rim The Black that came out a year or two ago. It was fine. It was mid, I suppose. Robot Jocks? I haven't seen that one. There's a movie with like boxing remote controlled robots that Hugh Jackman is in. Real Steel, I think. I never saw that one either. I don't think that counts as mecha though. And just like with the new Lord of the Rings stuff that was announced like a week or two ago, how like there's just an announcement that there's gonna be more Lord of the Rings stuff from Warner Brothers. Like with that and the live action Gundam thing that's coming eventually, I just really hope they're good. If those were just like great movies that slapped, that'd just be a huge W for everyone. You know? I don't know if highlighting around the circle like I just did there was necessary. Okay, that's what, 2 sides of the hammer down, 2 to go. Yeah, there are, I know Pacific Rim kits do exist. They're most certainly out of print now, if I had to take a guess. I don't know if there are any for the first movie, but I definitely saw a model kit, a Pacific Rim model kit in a store once. The store's prices were bad though, so I didn't get it. And also, it was like from the second movie, so I was more like feeling meh about it. Yeah, I remember when Pacific Rim came out in theaters, I saw it twice. It was that good. And you know, me and my edgy friends, we were like, haha, let's go get rimmed. And I went and got rimmed twice. One underrated aspect about Pacific Rim that I like is how the two main characters at the end like emerge from the ocean all victorious and all that, and they like don't kiss, they just like have like a hug of camaraderie. And I felt like if they had like some cheesy Hollywood kiss in there, it would have just like killed the moment of like, yeah, we defeated the monsters in our big mech suit and it was epic. Just because like there was like I guess there's like a little bit of sexual tension between the two like throughout the movie, but it's not like really focused on or like dwelt on that hard. So if they would have like thrown in a kiss at the end there, which I was fully expecting, it would have like just cheapened it a bit. Been a bit cliche, I suppose, but they didn't do that. Yep, these colors don't look great when you're looking at them really up close like this. They're really waiting for that freehand detail to come on to distract from all the hand painting textures. This hammer is like probably the most like widest, flattest Gunpla piece I've hand painted like this ever. Yeah, super cheese. Yeah, man, it makes sense. The Pacific Rim kits are high grades. I'm surprised there even were Pacific Rim kits in the first place. Oops, I touched some paint with my pinky there. Touched some wet paint, that is. Which, you know, is not ideal. by the time we're done this section here, we'll be basically out of this paint on the palette, and it'll make sense to switch back to gray for the butt flap. Gotta love it when there's the exact right amount of paint on the palette that you need. Oh, sorry, the camera wasn't focusing there. My bad. Alright, that's enough work on the hammer for now. Pretty satisfying. Welcome back, Solarian King. Okay, I'm going to switch out the water real quick so I can rehydrate the wet palette so I don't have the same issue as last stream. I'll be back in like 30 seconds, everybody. Okay, I'm back. Got some fresh water. Gotta keep that palette moist. Alright, crisis averted. It's a good way to like time out short breaks, I suppose. Yeah, it's good to stand up periodically. Okay, so Reddit said we would be going to the gray. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask Chad as well. I was just curious as to how if you watch any other streams, doesn't matter whether on here on YouTube or Twitch, whether like how my stream overlay compares. I'm like personally pretty satisfied with the amount of like, you know, widgets and extra functionality I've like thrown in, but I know obviously I can do more. I've seen some streams that just have like a ton of different stuff being displayed at all times. And I feel like I'm like at the place where I want it to be now, but I'm just curious if any of you are like watchers of other streams, if there's anything that feels missing. I don't have any current plans to like overhaul my stream or anything. I'm more just curious. Feels like, or I feel like miniature painting or like Gunpla painting or Gunpla building streams are not like the most popular kind of stream, and like there aren't a ton of different people that do it compared to like people who stream video games, so there's perhaps less of like a standard array of widgets to expect. Not that there is within other areas of streaming as far as I know. It seems like everyone kind of just does their own thing. The video, but it's for ants. Like their like face cam is bigger than the painting cam? Well, I'm glad you like the way my stream's set up. It's always reassuring. I'm also curious as to how many of you watch like all the content I do, in terms of like whether you'll watch a stream or video I do, regardless of whether it's minis or Gunpla, or whether you like, you know, you're only interested in the Gunpla / mech stuff, so you'll only tune in for that stuff. Which is totally fine as well. I'm just curious as to like how many viewers are like, no, just mecha for me, or like, yeah, I'm down for mecha and fantasy dudes with swords and stuff. Tiers, merch, promo, sponsor all over the screen. Yeah, it is. Some of them are kind of like NASCAR jackets. I know what you mean. Don't give a crap about emotes or whatever. Yeah, that's fair. I think I had like channel memberships turned on for a while where like you could get labels next to your name and chat and stuff like that and have specific emojis to use, but I have it turned off for now. I need to like decide. I haven't decided like what I want to do with it. I mean, because like the main revenue that I've focused on has always been the Patreon. I don't want to have like all the eggs in one basket like YouTube. I have a Ko-fi set up as well. That's something I did this year. I just haven't really had a reason to plug it. I suppose I should probably do that in the next video or something. It's more just to like have an option available if someone wants to do a one-time donation but doesn't want to do a YouTube super thanks or super chat. You know, the last like main channel video I did was set up with a fundraiser in it, so it didn't seem like a good time to plug a Ko-fi if I was also like telling people to donate to a fundraiser. Yeah, I figure most people like don't think too much about that kind of stuff. Or like most people wouldn't be watching the stream and be like, oh man, this stream would be so much better if I had a custom emoji to use or a label next to my name. I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that though, really. If it's for a streamer you like, go ahead. Oh, you've seen all my content. Wow. I appreciate that. It doesn't matter what the model kit is when you're watching a stream, you just want to see their process. Yeah, it seems fair. It seems like a fair approach. Now this part here, it's arguable whether I need to edge highlight it or not. I'll at least do like the initial edge highlight here, but when it comes to the further edge highlights to this, when I finish off the black, a good part of this section will probably be ignored because it won't even be visible. It'll be like covered up by the chest part, or like the big back that kind of looks like the turtle shell. I wonder how much the original mech designer of the Gusion had a turtle in mind when he was designing it. Like, I wonder if he was like, I am making a turtle mech. That's the entire, like, point here. Or whether he was more like, I just want to make a thick armored mech. And then it just slowly developed to kind of look like a turtle. Alright, that was nice and straightforward. I still have some gray on the palette I'm going to use before I finish off the sanguine on that. So let's just use up this gray on the... I mean, logically I should do the chest, but I kind of want to work on the legs instead because that's just what I'm feeling. So I'm going to do that. The world does need more turtle mechs. That's for dang sure. Did anyone do anything particularly festive for St. Patrick's Day today? I didn't really, other than wearing this green shirt, I hate to admit. I think I got some Irish descent in me, but it's not like, I wouldn't say I come from a Irish family or anything like that. So I don't know how authentic it'd be if I wore one of those corny shirts that said, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," or something like that. I feel like the way North America celebrates St. Patrick's Day is a lot different than how it was originally intended. Need to rewatch the Knowing Better video about Ireland. Pretty sure he covers that topic. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic there. And this could use another coat of black, actually. I don't have any on the palette to quickly use, though. I'll have to deal with that later. We're almost at 2 hours already, so I don't think I'll completely finish the edge highlighting this stream. I'll probably finish that all off camera tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna stream tomorrow night. Next stream will be probably, yeah, this week coming up I have more commitments than usual. Possibly a Wednesday and then a Friday stream. We'll see how things go. There's a lot of family events coming up for me. It's gonna delay work on the Gusion a bit. Possibly some non-YouTube work stuff too. But you know, I always appreciate all of everyone's patience. You all have to exercise it with my channel. I don't have the most frequent upload schedule, which, you know, is always a bit of a nightmare when it comes to YouTube. And I like to think audience is becoming more understanding over the last couple years of like creators taking a long time to release new content. Drank more. It is a Friday. I'm just noticing now my beard has a bit of a mask indent. How embarrassing. That looks a little too wet. Yeah, like this back plate on the thigh here doesn't... It's kind of like that part on the butt plate I was talking about where like I'll do the initial edge highlight, but past that like it might not get anything at all because it's going to be very obscured by the butt plate. That line's a little uneven there. I might have to fix that with some black as well. And also you can see here that there is some movement to the legs. If anyone was wondering how posable this project is, it's, you know, it's, as you can see, it is glued to the base, but there are still some movable parts in the legs and the arms. Head is fully movable in this one. The waist swivel too, although the waist swivel was pretty limited in general. I had to be quite careful posing it. Oh, does anyone know if the full mechanics Gundam aerial will have the same flight stand accessories that the high grade does, that lets you mount all the shield bits so they're like flying around doing the fancy attack? I know you gotta pay extra to get it with the high grades. I'm assuming that would happen with the full mechanics one is instead. But, you know, it would be super cool if it came, like, if it comes with the bits to, like, mount all the shield pieces so they're flying around on clear stands. That would be awesome. That would definitely, like, make it even more tempting to buy. And depending what the articulation is like on the full mechanics aerial, that might be one where I like do it as more of a traditional Gundam project and not a hand-painted one. But you know, I would still probably use some shifter paints because I kind of just use at least one shifter paint in every project at this point. Why not? Still got a decent amount of gray on the palette. Painting the insides of the legs. I arguably could have done that before I attached to the legs. And like, these aren't glued on. I could like detach them at the feet again, but I have to be kind of careful, so it's a bit of a hassle. Just a tiny mistake there. That would be nice if they were included. That takes my like chance of buying it from, I don't know, like a 60-70 to like a 70-80, maybe 85 even. That's another example of Gunpla DLC that should be an included feature, is just flight stands in general. Oh, it's sold separately. Dang. Well, in that case, I hope it at least ships at the same time as the full mechanics does. Mildly disappointed in you, Bandai, but not surprised. Could have had it all. Two action-based 2s with extra support arms. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on the... I have like one of my baggies of bits is like a bunch of flight stand related ones, so maybe I also have enough extra bits I could just jerry-rig something. Yeah, and I guess it wouldn't be that hard to just make, like, come up something with random clear acrylic plastic that you can sort. I'm pretty sure right now he's working on a Master Grade Extreme Freedom Gundam, but the stop motion animator Yushikiro, Japanese dude, he had like a pretty well known like new Gundam stop motion and like real grade new Gundam. And then ever since then, he's just like been putting out banger animations. And I've seen like on Twitter, he's been posting, he's been working on the Master Grade Extreme Freedom Gundam right now. But he could do some incredible stuff with like animating the shield bits flying around with the aerial. That's just another aspect of Gunpla that's just super fun, is the potential stop motion shenanigans you can do with it. Obviously that doesn't work out so well with how I'm customizing this Gusion for a tabletop game. But hey, I got my Gundam Flowers doing a little transforming stop motion in my video intros. I don't have any plans to redo my intro anytime, but I'm sure eventually I'll get the hankering to like try and do some updated stop motion. Does anyone in chat remember the old stop motion intro that had Barbatos swinging a sword? Oh dear, there goes my bit rate again. Sorry, folks. Yeah, he did. He definitely did one with the real grade God Gundam. Definitely recommend checking that one out. He's done some with the Ava model kits as well. He did one with the real grade Hainu Gundam too, that was amazing. He did I believe he did one with the real grade Zeong. I think he's done some high grades as well. And master grades. I'm pretty sure he did one with the master grade Wing Zero Verka that came out in end of 2020, I believe. Is that when that one came out? It might have been 2021. And it did a spin. That sounds epic. Glad it didn't like fall over and shatter, I guess. Whoops. That was awkward. One reason why I paint over this Magic the Gathering playmat, it has a bit of a padding and shock absorption for when that happens. Almost done with the gray on the palette here. And then I'll paint the sanguine highlight for a bit and then probably wrap up the stream in 20 or 30 minutes or so. I made it to like basically 3 hours last night, but so I don't feel bad about cutting this one closer to like the 2.5 hour mark. That's the usual stream length anyways. Perhaps I will leave the rest to just do off camera. Or I can do that one. I'll do this last panel here. That'll be the last black part I paint for now. Then we'll go back to painting that juicy butt flap. Yeah, I'm like annoyingly close to just being done there. I'm ready to move on though. It basically used all the paint on there. Alright. Let's put some paint on the palette first. Anyone got exciting plans for the weekend? That should be a decent amount of paint on there. We'll do this plus a bit more. Oh, there's a little bonus burp. What was that, 8 maybe? Feels like it's been an hour since the last one. No wonder the viewers have gone down. That sounds like a classic adult weekend there, Shane. I did my errands today, so I'll probably do something exciting like not leave the house. Well, that's not true. I'll probably go on a walk or two. Oh wait, I do have an obligation on Sunday, so I'll be leaving the house Sunday. Oh, and Blue Parappa started building the real grade God Gundam today. That thing's intense. Maybe she'll be done by the end of the weekend, I don't know though. That's the kind of kid I'd say it's fair to take it slow. Even let her borrow the nice nippers on that one. So usually she like sands as she builds because she doesn't like paint as often, so it doesn't need to like disassemble as often, so it's like, oh, I might as well remove these nubs before I put it together. But with the real grade God Gundam, there's so many pieces and a lot of them have like undergating that she's taking a bit of a different approach on this build. Ah, you didn't enjoy it? Was the end result worth it though? Alright, got that done. Still a decent amount on the palette, so we're just gonna go back to the legs. Once the paint on the palette's used up, I'll wrap up the stream for tonight. And there should be hopefully 1 or 2 more streams next week. I can't guarantee what days of the week they'll be on. Schedule's a little hectic in March. Yeah, I gotta remember to paint in the glow effects here. High kick and maintain during a table shake. That's impressive. Oh, so you do love it. That's good. Yeah, I've seen lots of impressive poses from it. It seems like they did a pretty solid job with that one. Sorry, scraped the mic there with the end of the brush. And this like front section on the thigh here isn't like really an edge to highlight, it's more of a curve that I'm just choosing to highlight. Yeah, I've heard that about the arms. There's like a kind of polycap material and like a certain part of the arm mechanism. It's like, seems like a fair sacrifice to make in order to like get the extra posability out of it. As far as I can tell from an outside, or as an outside observer. And if anyone was wondering what this new base pattern, if it's like replacing the teal thing I've done for the other Gamma Wolves, it's like kind of. It's more like the other 7 ones I hand painted for Gamma Wolves. They're just like, those are just 2 Gamma Wolves crews. I suppose I could come up with some like lore or like some fanfic reason for the protagonists and antagonists to be working together, and I could like mix and match some of them to be on the same team, and it would still like work pretty well because they all have matching bases. And then whatever other mech projects go along with this Gusion for its Gamma Wolves squad, they'll all have this blue base. And then whatever the next squad ends up being after that, we'll see. Maybe the blue base will just be like the standard, or I feel like maybe more likely it's like the pattern I painted onto it, where it's like divided into quarters and can be used for various mechanics depending on the game. Probably keep doing that, but I could like switch the blue color to something else for a different crew perhaps. And you know, like I said earlier, I want to read some other game PDFs and just see how the different agnostic games that you can use Gunpla with compare with each other. It's hard to read PDFs when you got so much edge highlighting to do though, am I right? You know, edge highlighting among other things. Boring adult tasks. Alright, well, we'll definitely be making it past the 2.5 hour mark. Still got at least 5 minutes of paint left on the palette. At least. See how accurately I judge that. It's 2 hours 29 minutes right now. Let's see if I finish around 2 hour 34 minutes. Finish painting, that is. It'll be interesting comparing this Gusion to the Master Grade my Master Grade Barbatos, because that one also used the P3 Sanguine base. But that was the base color that built up, and or like the main red color on that one is P3 Scorn Red, which this Gusion will not be using. Well, like, it'll be interesting to see how the different colors read when I put them next to each other. The blacks I'm using on this Gusion are different as well. Hopefully the focus didn't get too wacky there. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm just in the edge highlighting zone, you know? Probably say that every stream. I like to think if I'm in a flow state and painting hardcore and not talking a lot, at least the painting part of the stream is more engaging. Assuming I'm holding it in a position where the camera is staying in focus. As there's always that extra degree of challenge when it comes to painting on camera. Alright, just a couple minutes left. People, get your last minute messages, super chats, questions, or whatever in now. And since this was a healthy 2-stream week, probably won't be any more streams until mid next week. Ideally, I'll do 2 streams again next week. We'll see. No, this weekend I'll definitely like be finishing the edge highlighting, but then the freehanding and stuff I'm gonna do eventually. It's hard to say how long that's gonna take. It's usually about like, or like when I finish painting a Gunpla project, after that usually it takes about like a week or a week and a half to get the video done. Sometimes 2 weeks, I guess. It depends on how much footage there is. Okay, I'm pretty much out of paint. It's coming along nicely. Pretty happy with the progress tonight. I just have to finish the edge highlighting on the legs there and the chest piece here, and then that'll be all the initial edge highlights done. Yeah, it's a good thing I took that break to change out the water and refill the palette paper, because I can tell it's, if I hadn't have done that, it would have dried up and curled up again. If I could do it full time for income, would you? I mean, I am doing, well, it's like, I'm not always making YouTube stuff full time, but I'm doing like, I'm being Millennial Model Mayhem full time now, kind of. I have been for a while, but it doesn't bring in enough money to like fully pay the bills, so I'm relying on savings and like money from other sources to like also cover it, but it's always kind of been on a time bomb, not a time bomb, but like there's always been a time factor of like, well, eventually I'm gonna like dip into enough of my savings that I'll be like, okay, I gotta stop the YouTube now and get some other job that's got more stable income. But like, you know, relatively successful with the YouTube, like considering the niche I'm in. So there's I don't want to like complain too much, but like I put in beyond full-time hours doing the Mayhem thing. Not all those hours are always for like YouTube direct stuff, but it's still like a lot of work, and I wouldn't say I get like compensated fairly for it, but you know, I'm painting specific, I'm like, it's like a niche within a niche within a niche, the Gunpla, like hand painting Gunpla stuff. So yeah, I mean, I've worked retail before, already charred. I understand. But yeah, so maybe sometime this year I'll have to make some sort of announcement of like, okay, YouTube content is like officially slowing down now because I got another job that's taking my time. But for the time being, you know, things are just, I'm working on the Gusion. The Gusion video will come out when it's ready, as fast as I reasonably can. I don't like put too much pressure on myself to release videos as frequently as YouTube wants me to, because the burnout gets to be too much. Just, yeah, burnout is real. And there's something else I was gonna say in regards to that. Yeah, and I've been like the streams I was doing earlier with Conquest stuff, the like videos that'll come out after the Gusion eventually, like I've been working on those a bit on the side, so it'll be like between my January video, the or was it February, the Shimazu ashtray video, there'll be like a pretty large gap between that and the Gusion video, but then the videos after the Gusion have already like kind of been started on, so, and like the nature of the videos, they shouldn't take as long to make. So I'm hoping I can get like a decent chunk of videos out before I go on my trip to the UK at the end of May. And of course I will be bringing my camera with me to film some at the UK Games Expo and film some at the anime convention I'm going to before we go to the UK, because there'll be some Gunpla stuff there. So then when I get back, I can hopefully edit together some kind of video out of that footage. Anyways, there's a random rant about YouTube stuff. I'll have to, if you're watching the next stream, you can request more rants about YouTube, because as a YouTuber, I can definitely rant about YouTube for a long time. But on that note, as much as I like ranting about YouTube, it is nice to live stream some model painting, so I appreciate everyone coming and watching. Especially appreciate those of you who are watching last night and tonight. But I appreciate anyone watching nonetheless. So yeah, on that note, I will say goodbye and talk to you all soon. Just you can stay up to date on when the next stream will be on my social media like usual. Alright.